Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Namaskar dear students and learner of this course. I am Professor Kamesh Rawal. I welcomes you in the video lecture series of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. We were discussing a subject called Fundamentals of Computer and Information Technology. I think in the last session we have focused on a different type of input devices. Now in today's session we will try to focus on a different type of output devices. Okay, so in the block number 1 of this particular subject we have seen that mainly our system is what? It's a data processor, right? It takes the data from the user. So here we are using to take the data, to record the data into the computer system. What we need is a different type of input devices. So I think in the last session we have discussed a different type of input devices, such as a keyboard is there, different type of pointing devices like mouse, trackball, light pen, etc., etc. Then we have discussed scanning devices, right, mic, etc., etc. Now in this system, obviously by using all this different type of hardware, we can provide a data from the user to the computer system. Once the data will be captured by the computer system, then the computer system will process that data and obviously it will produce some information, right? So how can we give this type of information to the user? Obviously if we want to provide this information to the user, then obviously we need to use a different type of output devices. Basically there are two main output devices are there. In fact you will get a number of different type of output devices. Speaker is again a kind of output devices, right? But the thing is, here we will try to focus on only those output devices which are more important. So mainly that output which is process the data, which is information for the user, right? To show that particular thing to the user, mainly we are using two type of devices, and those devices are called monitor and printer, right? So either whatever data is processed by the system and information is produced, you can show that particular data on the screen, right? So here we will use a monitor. So monitor will be treated as output device, and let's suppose if user want hard copy, right? I think what is hard copy and soft copy, in the previous lecture we have done a detailed discussion on it. So suppose if user wants information to be printed on the paper and user need information in the form of hard copy, obviously we can use a different type of printers. Basically if we talk about a monitor, then there are two type of monitors are there. CRT, which is stands for Cathode Ray Tube, and LCD, that is called liquid crystal display. Nowadays one more category or enhanced category of the monitor is still there, which is called LED, right? So LED, which stands for light emitting diode. So mainly there are three category of monitors are there: CRT, LCD and LED. If you want to take a hard copy, then you need to use a printer. So mainly there are three type of printers are available in the market. One is called dot matrix printer, one is inkjet printer, and another one is a laser printer. Fine. So what are these different type of printers and monitors? Fine, we'll just do the detailed discussion on it. Okay, fine. Now here the first topic is introduction, right? So what is output device? So output is defined as a process the data from the computer, right? So computer takes a input data, it will process and produce the information. Output is available to us in the form of hard copy or soft copy, right? Soft copy and hard copy of what? Text, graphical data, audio or video. The hardware which is used to provide a output is called output devices. So obviously if we want to obtain or retain some information from the computer system, obviously we need to use several devices, and those devices are known as output devices. Monitors, printers, plotters are commonly used output devices. Plotters are, it's a very giant printer. So let's suppose if you want to print a huge civil diagram, right, which is made by any civil engineer, then you can use a plotter. Okay. Now monitor. A monitor, which is also known as a display unit, or it is also known as a VDU. VDU stands for visual display unit. It is a piece of electrical equipment which display image generated by a devices such as computer without producing a permanent record. The display device is a modern monitor, is typically a thin film transistor. It's a thin film transistor liquid crystal display. So it is also known as a TFT LCD. So it's a thin monitor, while older monitor system is there, right, which was actually using a cathode ray tube. So I think if you people are aware, the older televisions and monitors are there, they are very huge in a size, right. So those type of monitor, if you are then it is called a cathode ray tube, right. But nowadays we can see very thin monitors are there, right. It is known as a TFT LCD monitor, right. Okay. Monitor is the most frequently used output device. The main feature of the monitor are size and clarity. So let's suppose if we want to buy a monitor, obviously we need to focus on two things. One, how much size will be occupied by that particular device, and second, how much clear image we can visualize from that particular monitor. So let's suppose if you talk about a CRT, cathode ray tube. So obviously to put a CRT monitor or to put a CRT television on the desk, obviously you need a huge space, okay. But suppose instead of CRT, if you are using LCD, obviously you can wall mount it because it's a very thinner, right. Similarly, when we are trying to buy a monitor, at that time we also need to focus on how much clear images will be produced by that particular device. The size of the display is typically given as the distance between two opposite screen corner. So how can you monitor the screen size? So if you want to measure the screen size, in that case you have to take two diagonal element and you just have to measure the distance between two diagonal element, right. So suppose if you are getting 15-inch monitor or 17-inch of monitor or 19-inch of monitor, that means the distance between two diagonal element of that display unit will be a 19-inch, okay. Larger monitors have the advantages of display more information on the screen, right. So obviously the larger monitor if you are using, then you can see more information on the screen because it is able to print a very large image. However, these are more expensive. So obviously let's suppose if you are buying a 15-inch of monitor, so that will be a bit cheaper. But suppose if you are buying 17-inch or 19-inch or more we can say larger screen area, so obviously you need to put more cost, right. Okay. Resolution of the monitor, that indicates a clarity, right. So more the resolution, you will the more clear images will be you can visualize from the monitor. The unit of the resolution is in the pixel, right. So pixels are a small dots. If more number of pixels are there, more number of dots are there, right, obviously by using that particular monitor more clear image can be produced. Pixels are individually small dots, it's called a picture element, that form the image on the monitor, right. Here the different different type of resolutions are there. SVGA, which is stands for Super Video Graphic Array, and the pixel size are 800 by 600, and usually 15-inch of monitor will support this type of resolution. Then XGA, it is called Extended Graphic Array. Here you can get a resolution up to 1024 cross 768. 17-inch and 19-inch of monitor can easily produce that XGA kind of resolution. The next is SXGA, is a super extended graphics array. So here more resolution, 1280 to 1024 resolution can be produced, and obviously it will be supported by either 19 or 21-inch of monitor. And the last one is UXGA. It is called Ultra Extended Graphic Array. Here the higher resolution will be produced by the monitor. It is 1600 to 1200, and obviously 20-inch and above screens monitor can produce this type of resolution. Mainly three type of monitors are there. One is called CRT, it is called Cathode Ray Tube. Second, thin monitors are there, which can be either LCD, liquid crystal display, or LED, light emitting diode. Here cathode ray tube is shown. So cathode ray tube, it is this type of device which is I have shown in the image at the right hand side. The CRT monitor, which is a big size and it's a very heavy monitor. It is the oldest technology, right? So basically, see, if you are using the CRT at that time, the images will be, you will not get that much clear image. That is the first thing. Second is to put this type of monitor, you need a huge space, right? Because this type of monitors are bulky and they occupy more size on the table. The third drawback of using this particular monitor is it consumes a lot of energy. Okay, so again, this is a drawback. The main benefit of using CRT is it's a cheaper, right? So when you are buying a monitor, you have to spend less cost compared to LED and LCD. Okay, it looks like a television, but has a bigger display resolution and offer a high frequency. The advantage of the CRT monitor are low cost and high resolution. So here in a low cost you can get the higher resolution, but here you are not getting a that much higher resolution which can be produced by LCD or LED monitor, right? The disadvantage is a larger size, right? So already I have spoken a lot of disadvantages. It consumes more energy, you need a more space, it's a bulky, and it has a larger size. Okay, the another one is called liquid crystal display. So LCD monitor now are easily available in the market. So here sorry, I have shown image at the right hand side of a LCD monitor. So LCD and LED, these are the two monitor which are very thin and flat, right? Okay, the LCD monitor are also called flat panel monitor. It is a thin, flat and lightweight monitor. It's a newer technology compared to CRT. The quality can be the same or even better than CRT. So obviously, if you have the LCD or LED, then the better quality of image can be produced. But this type of monitor is a costly monitor compared to the CRT monitor. Okay, there are two type of LCD monitors are there: passive matrix and active matrix. Passive matrix are also called a dual scan monitor, which create images by scanning entire screen. This type of monitor required a little power, but the clarity is not much sharp, right? So the problem is you will not be able to get a sharp image with the help of this particular monitor, but still it is far better than the CRT. Okay, and one more thing is, this type of monitor, passive matrix monitor, will take or consume a less electricity, right? The another monitor which is called active matrix or thin film transistor TFT monitors are there, and that consumes more electricity, but you can get a very sharp and very crystal clear image from this type of monitor. Okay, so mainly we have seen two type of monitors, CRT and LCD. Now we will see, let's suppose if you have any data, any document which is available in the form of soft copy, and if you want to take its hard copy, if you want to take its printout, if you want to take that data on a paper, so obviously what you need to do is you need to use a printer, right? So the output view on the monitor is referred to the soft copy. So the document which you are watching in the, we can say, monitor, it's called a soft copy document, right? But now if you want to take its printout, if you want to take a printout of it on the paper, then it will be a hard copy. And to take a hard copy, what you need is you need a printer. Okay, so printer is an important output device for maintaining a hard copy of the document. Mainly there are three type of printers are there. The first is called a dot matrix printer, second is a inkjet printer, and third one is called a laser printer. Okay, here at the right hand side we can see a dot matrix printer. So it's a very old technology. Most of the government offices were using this type of printer. This printer is known as a impact printer, because here there are several pins are there, and the pins are actually attached with the particular head, and head will decide which character has to be formed, and based on it, it will give one jerk to the pin, and the pin will slightly move, and in the front side of the pin, what you have is you have a carbon ribbon. Okay, so whatever pins are coming ahead, they will make a strike on a particular carbon ribbon, and from the back side of the carbon ribbon, the particular character will get printed on the paper, right? So here we are doing a hammering on the pin, right? The head is doing a hammering on the pin, and due to that reason, this type of printers are known as a impact printer, because of the impact, right? It makes a lot of noise. So obviously some people are also recognizing this particular printer as a noisy printer. Okay, fine, we'll just go point by point. It is an impact printer and commonly used printer, right? It is used when the quality of the printout is not important. So obviously with the help of this type of printer, low quality printout will be taken, right? Here the characters will be printed in the form of dots, because there are some pins are there, and we are just striking on the pin, and that pin will be create a dot on the paper. So here whatever characters are there which will be printed on the paper, they will be printed in the form of small dots. It has a print head that runs back and forth. So obviously the head will move like this, right? Left hand side to right hand side, top and bottom. It print impact striking in a ink sock cloth ribbon against the paper. So as I said, the head is actually striking on the pen, so the pin will come ahead, and there will be a carbon cloth ribbon is there. So whenever the particular pin will be punch on that particular cloth, then the carbon particles will come on a paper, right? And the particular dot will be printed on the paper. Because the printing involves a mechanical pressure, the printer can create a carbon copies. So here let's suppose if you need a 2 or 3 copies, obviously what you can do is you can put a carbon between 2 papers and you just insert it into the printer. So obviously 2 copies will be created. One is a printout copy and second it's carbon copy. Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages? So see here I have tried to show the head, right? On the front side of the head, this type of pins are there, and this pins will be impacted by the head, and then the ribbon will just put carbon particles on the paper, and the character you can see here S is printed, so as you can see it's not very sharp, it is made by a few dots. So obviously dotmatic printer do not print high resolution printout. Okay, but there are several advantages are there. This type of printer is a highly reliable, less costly printout you can take, and you can also take a carbon copies from this, right? What are the disadvantages of using this printer? So it's a low resolution printer, the quality of the printout will be again low, the speed of the printer is low, and the main drawback of this particular printer is it's a very noisy. So during the printout you will get a lot of noise. Okay, fine. The next printer is called a inkjet printer. So see, this type of printers are easily available in the market. It's a very cheaper printer. So if you are spending 3,000 400,000 rupees, and you will get this type of printer. With the help of this type of printer you can also take a color printout. Here liquid ink will be used to take the printout. Basically in this type of printer, there are two cartridges are there, and in both the cartridges liquid ink will be filled. One cartridge will be a color cartridge, second is a black cartridge, right? And here at the bottom side of the cartridge there are very small tiny holes are there, and with the help of the circuit we will open few holes. When the hole gets open, the liquid ink whatever we have filled in the cartridge, the ink will flow, and it will create some dots on the paper, and by using very small tiny dots, particular character or shape or image will be we can get it from on the paper. Okay, so this is what the things are written over here. Inkjet printers are also non impact printer. So I think in the last printer we have seen that pins are actually strike, and due to that reason Dotmatics printer was a impact printer, but here the printers are not non-impact printer. So inkjet printers are not impact printer. Here liquid ink is used, right, and they will create a small tiny dots on the paper. The quality of the printout is far better than the Dotmatics printer, right? It has two cartridges as we have discussed, black cartridge and another one is a color cartridge. In both the cartridge a liquid ink will be there. It has a small head at the bottom side of the cartridge, and which will have some special circuitry, and circuitry will decide what type of shape has to be created on the paper, and based on it, it will open some holes, and from that holes the ink particles will move from the cartridge to the paper, and in that way we can take the printout. This type of printer can be used to take a printout on a greeting card, business card, letterheads, etc., etc. Okay, fine. The last printer is called a laser printer. So laser printer is a high speed printer. It can produce a high quality of printout. It is also known as a non-impact printer. Usually two type of printers are available in the market. One is a black and white laser printer, and another one is a color laser printer. The cost of the color laser printer is much more higher than the black and white laser printer, right? So let's suppose if you want to buy a black and white laser printer, you will be able to get black and white laser printer from 7,000 rupees to 12,000 rupees. But let's suppose if you want to buy any color laser printer, obviously the cost will be more than 45,000, right? So the color laser printer was actually a very costly. Laser printer has a special component called the toner, and there will be carbon powders are there. So see, in the case of inkjet printer, we have used ink in a liquid form. Here the carbon particles are there, the carbon powder is there, and with the help of that carbon powder, the toner is actually producing a characters or image on the paper. Here basically to give a shape, we are using a laser beam. Okay, so I think in the next slide I have shown how actually the laser printer is working. So see here, there are carbon powder is there, toner is there, photoelectric drum is there, laser light is there, and mirror is there, right. So different components are there. Now see what happened actually. See, we are initially we are just applying a electric charge on a photoelectric drum. So entire drum gets charged. Okay. Now with the help of laser and mirror, right. Mirror is usually, you know, it's a prism kind of thing. So with the help of that laser light and mirror, whatever character we want to print, that will be shaped, right, on the photoelectric drum. So you know, the entire photoelectric drum has a electrical charge, but now with the help of, you know, laser light and that prism or mirror, we are changing charge on the electric drum. Now depending upon the charge, the carbon particles will be attracted and it will comes on a paper. Fine. Once the particular shape will be created with the help of powder form, right, carbon in the powder form, then the toner, it is the device which will apply a heat and pressure on that particular particle, and that carbon particle will be sticked permanently on the paper. So this is how the laser printer is functioning, right. Okay, we'll just go through the point. The laser light alters the electric charge which is applied on the drum. The toner then stick the carbon particles on the paper by applying proper heat and pressure. Toner becomes empty. After some times, you know, the carbon particles will be empty. Toner will becomes, you know, toner will not have a carbon powder. In that case, you need to refill that toner, right. Once you are refilling the toner, then again you can take somewhere around more than 3000 pages, right. Okay, so this is a laser printer. Basically, laser printer can produce a good quality of printout. It is a little bit costly printer, but the thing is, printout is a much more cheaper, right, and the main benefit is it's a very faster compared to dot matrix and inkjet printer. Okay. So in this session, basically we have focused on different type of output devices, right. So mainly we have focused on monitor. We have seen there are two type of monitors are there. One is called CRT and LCD monitor. We have seen what is exactly the difference is there between the CRT and LCD monitor. Then we have discussed printer. So mainly three type of printers we have discussed. One is called a dot matrix printer, the another one is called inkjet printer, and the third one is called a laser printer. I think this much things are sufficient for our today's session. Now your unit number 2 is completed, all the 4 units, right, in the block number 2 we have discussed. From next session onwards, we will start discussing a block number 3, and in that we will see what actually the computer network is. So we'll meet in the next session and we'll discuss something about computer networks, right. Till then, take care and bye bye.